You don't have to be anybody else. You don't have to have anything else. You don't have to, become or, create anything else to have your vision. Yeah, there is a level of you that gets to evolve and become, but it will naturally unfold as you go after your vision. And what do you have to have in order to go after your vision? Belief right here, right now, or you won't ever go after it. And if you don't go after it, you won't go through the trials, the tribulations, the ups, the downs, the peaks, the valleys, right, of the journey to get to that vision, which is the actual path that's going to grow you and evolve you naturally to become the person that you get to become, to arrive where it is that you're looking to arrive until you set your next vision, your next goal, right? And I think it's like, we're like, okay, there's the path, there's the vision, there's a path, there's a vision. So I need to go work on myself over here to become a certain person that can be on this path over here. It's like, no. The path starts where you are, right? And you're going towards the vision. This is the only path. There is no, let me become something more or do something different or whatever we think it is to create the confidence or the belief, to prepare myself to be on the path that's there to prepare me. So it's just so important for us to really realize that anytime we think anybody else has it easier, or anybody else has more, or anybody else is better or more enough, or whatever the case may be, it is first and foremost not true. It is your story to justify your non-movement towards your dreams. So it's not fair to you. And it's also not fair to look at anybody else and say they don't go through anything, they don't have it hard, they just, were born with it, because you're discrediting their commitment to their path that they've had to fight through, for their growth and for their, peaks and their valleys. Like, you don't know, you don't know. And different people have had different parts of their path before you actually meet with them. Someone else might hit a certain goal before you in whatever the hell you do, or whatever you're comparing yourself. And you could be looking at, this is what I did in volleyball. So 8th grade is the first year I tried out for volleyball. I'd never played the sport before, right? I'd practiced and played many other sports, but I really didn't really know much about volleyball until my brother started playing sand. He was 8 years older than me. I want to be like my brother. So 8th grade, 7th grade, tried out for basketball. Before that, it was gymnastics and cheer. I did track, I did swimming, never volleyball. So I tried out for a volleyball team. I almost got cut. Everybody made the team, and it was like, we need to look at you a couple more days because we're not sure about you. It was probably they saw my drive to be great, but I sucked ass, right? So if you were to look in that moment at me compared to some of the girls on the 8th grade team that had been playing since they were, 10, or played freaking with their family. I'd never touched a ball, right? So if you would have compared us at that moment, you would have absolutely said, this person is going to make it, and this person, they suck, right? In that moment. But we're just at different points of our path. They've already been practicing for a couple years. I'm just now starting. Right? But if the destination, let's just say, is full ride scholarship to play volleyball, either person has the same ability, because their path is their path. Their starting point is their starting point. What they've been through already is what they've been through already, so it's like, and what happened, I ended up, D1 scholarship playing volleyball. Never would have thought in a million years, 8th grade, that this girl would even be playing the sport after 8th grade, right? It was that kind of ugly, right? But so it's just like, you can't compare yourself, because you were given the vision you were given, and you were given the path that you were given. And so there's no point in comparing your path, your present, or your future to anybody else, because you have no idea what spot in their path that they're in. So vision, once you have vision, you got to have the belief to be able to go after the vision and visualize it every day to strengthen that belief. And once you believe in that vision, you will start taking the path. And in that path, it's going to be up, down, good, bad, lots of growth, lots of evolving, all those things. But what happens, again, I was just saying this, is we think, okay, this is where I want to go. That's who I want to be. That's what I want to accomplish. That's the business I want to start. That's the leadership position I'm going for. That's the income level I want to have. That's the freedom. I see it, right? And we say, I don't have what it needs to take. I'm not enough yet. I was given too hard of a past. I'm not smart enough. Whatever the conversations are. So then we go, I need to go work on myself off the path to become good enough to even get on the path towards my vision. Yet the only place that you're going to naturally evolve and become the person you need to become to get to your vision is the path towards the vision. That path is going to be up, down, around, and around. That path is going to teach you lessons. That path is going to help you become enough and develop leadership skills and develop skills and, all those things. There's no other place to go to work on yourself for your vision, but just go after your vision and never quit, so that you continue to evolve naturally. And I do it. This is the only way I can speak to it, right? It's like, what am I missing? What am I lacking? What do I not have yet? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? But it's like, just stay the path. Just stay the path, because you'll figure out what you're doing wrong, and you'll figure out what you're doing right, and you'll figure out what you're missing, and you'll figure out what needs to go, all in this very natural. And when it's time to identify what's missing, you're not like, oh, I suck. You're like, got it, because you're on the path. Everything is positive here, even if it's down, because you're learning it to get to a place. Your experience it to strengthen to be at that place. You can't get that over here. You can't control your growth. I do this so much, you guys. I try to control everything, right? I cannot control how fast I become who I become. I cannot control where I'm going to get my growth or where I'm going to learn my lessons. I just got to go and trust and be true to me and stay focused on my vision and believe in it and just keep taking the steps, because on those steps, I will learn, I will become, I will evolve, and I will get there. So we talked about that this morning. We talked about vision this morning. And doing the exercise was really real for me, because, like I said earlier, it's not fair to look at anybody else that you would classify in a leadership role and act like they've figured it all out, or they don't have any limited beliefs in anything, because it just is a disservice to you. It just makes you feel you're even lesser than, and that person, is doubting themselves already. They're over there in that leadership role doubting themselves and struggling with their own stuff, but I want to make myself, right? like victim to my own story. Like I want to prove to myself that the story that I say is I'm not good enough yet is because look at them, it looks so easy. So therefore, clearly I'm not good enough yet. And it's like, you don't freaking know. Do you know how many times you show up and make your life look easy when in the background you're struggling? Did you forget that part? Did you forget that you also show up covering your shit? Did you forget that others are looking at you like, why is she like so happy all the time? Her life just must be amazing. He always shows up on time. Like he must not have any issues. It's the biggest freaking bullshit ever. You know? Like, you are powerful enough. You're already doing all the shit anybody you would look up to is doing. You're already doing it all. You know, it's the mind that we've got to get back into control. It's the belief in self. It's the realization that we create so many limited beliefs just to make our story right so we don't get uncomfortable and try something new, or we don't actually go after the freaking life that we want. You guys understand that limited beliefs and fears literally have suffocated the majority of humankind? Suffocated. Like, seriously. Limited beliefs and fears. And that shit comes from growing up, and not just your fucking parents, but the world, society, and how it's evolved, right? Everything is based off of fear. Everything is based off of, like, you know, people who like really had like massive fear around this pandemic, like if they don't know how to handle the fear, like they're like at home sanitizing everything, never leaving the house, and sanitizing every like 30 minutes, and nobody's come and gone. Do you understand how restricting, like how much thought that takes over someone? Every 30 minutes, they're disinfecting and they haven't gone anywhere and no one's come to their house. But fear is so strong that they are literally restricted, tied down, suffocated. You have to remind me to sanitize. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not thinking about that. Right? So if you don't think that fears and limited beliefs have way more power over you than you want to admit, like it's a great time to really look at that. What I was saying earlier